I don't care how other platforms is gonna paint this, but Megan Thee Stallion took a L. Regardless of what headlines you see today about this Megan Thee Stallion and Milagro lawsuit verdict, Megan Thee Stallion took a L.
This might be the worst news Megan Thee Stallion has gotten in a long time, and honestly, I don't think she saw it coming, because everybody online is spinning this verdict like she won something major. But when you actually break down what happened in that courtroom, the full picture looks nothing like a W. And if Megan really understands what this ruling means going forward, especially for her career and her relationship with the media, then she knows this is a disaster. The media, then she knows this is a disaster. Before anybody gets emotional, let's start at the beginning. This whole situation wasn't about Tory Lanez anymore. This wasn't about the shooting case. This was Megan going after one single blogger, Milagro, also known as Magro, and trying to make an example out of her.
How you feeling today, Megan?
And the explosive, headline-grabbing criminal trial that followed, Megan says that criticism has turned into a full-scale attack.
Just because you have freedom of speech, that does not mean you have freedom to bully.
What Megan wanted was simple: shut down the bloggers, scare the commentary channels, and make sure anybody who questioned her side of the Tory case would think twice before speaking again. And on paper, suing a blogger probably felt like an easy win, a huge celebrity versus a YouTuber with a laptop? Come on. In Megan's head, this was supposed to be a slam dunk, a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, a giant headline, and a legal stamp saying, "Yes, you lied on me. I proved it." But that's not what happened at all. Because once the trial actually started, the entire thing went sideways. The first big shock came when the judge announced he would let the jury decide whether Magro counts as media. That doesn't sound like a big deal, but in the legal world, that decision changed everything. If Magro is considered media, Megan can't just drag her into court without going through proper channels. She has to send a cease and desist. She has to follow the rules that apply to journalists. And that's exactly what Megan didn't do. So when the jury officially ruled that Magro is media, that one decision nuked Megan's entire defamation claim on the spot. Not because Magro was right or wrong, but because Megan's legal team failed to follow the correct process. You can't sue a journalist for defamation if you never notified them the right way.
Now, more than 2 years after Lanez was convicted, the artist is taking on a social media influencer, accusing her of waging a war of harassment and bullying. It's a case many are watching, since the outcome could determine who qualifies as media and what kind of speech is protected online.
Which means the whole defamation portion got wiped clean. The only thing the jury left was the deepfake repost situation and the emotional distress claim. And even then, the damages came in embarrassingly low. Megan asked for around $10 million. She walked out with $59,000. Then the judge dropped it even lower. Let that sink in. $2 to $5 million spent on lawyers, months of prep, dozens of subpoenas, dragging people like academics and Aiden Ross into depositions. All that noise, all that public drama, for 59 grand. You don't spend a mansion's worth of money to walk out with a used Honda Civic. And here's where the really bad news comes in. Because this wasn't just a loss financially. This changed the future of how Megan has to deal with the media. She can't silence bloggers anymore. She can't go after commentary channels the way she just tried to. The jury literally validated new media as real journalism. They confirmed that these bloggers qualify for legal protections, the same protections she thought she could get around. And that means going forward, if Megan wants to sue any of these people, she now has to follow the official steps.
Hold on to that last statement because that's very important. They was also in court to prove whether or not Milagro and other social media bloggers like myself, whether or not we count as media and as journalists and as official media.
She can't just say, "They lied about me, I'm taking them to court." She needs evidence, proper notices, cease and desist letters, and the whole 9 yards. She basically strengthened the shield for the same people she wanted to shut down. Even worse, the headlines spinning this as a massive win aren't telling the real story. The jury did not agree she was defamed. They didn't clear her name. They didn't say Magro lied on purpose. They didn't say Megan proved anything about Tory or the case. That whole part got thrown out because the defamation couldn't legally stand. So when people say Megan proved everyone wrong, that is not what happened in the courtroom. If anything, the verdict created more doubt, more questions, more conversations about whether she overreacted, mishandled the situation, or tried to use her power to punish the people who didn't believe her. Social media is already dragging her for spending millions to get less than 60,000.
Because if we do, then we have certain protections and certain rights and certain things that have to happen in order to properly sue us and go through certain channels. Megan Thee Stallion was arguing that people like Milagro, myself, again, her team even called academics for deposition. So they were lining it up.
They're saying she bullied bloggers, wasted time, and made new enemies for no reason. And honestly, they're not wrong. Because this trial brought attention to everybody she tried to silence. It gave people like Magro even more visibility. It brought the independent media community closer together. It made big creators feel threatened. And now that the dust has settled, the same creators are celebrating the verdict because it protects them, not her. Another major piece of bad news for Megan is how this affects her reputation moving forward. She already had a complicated relationship with the public after the Tory trial. A lot of fans didn't know what to believe. The internet was split, and instead of letting the situation fade, this lawsuit brought all the old arguments back up again. The narrative she was trying to escape got revived in full force. The blogs are talking about it. The commentators are talking about it. The court documents are circulating, and every detail that she wanted to bury is now back at the surface. And trust me, this isn't helping her image. People are bringing up her interviews, old tweets, old statements that didn't line up, the contradictions from the original case. Everything is being re-examined. And with Magro being labeled as media, it legitimizes the people who weren't on Megan's side to begin with.
Right? If they prove in court that Milagro don't count as media, they were about to go after everybody else. They was about to go after academics, after Aiden Ross, after everybody else. And the judge kind of ruled pretty early on that he will leave it up to the jury to decide whether or not Milagro and others like Milagro.
Then there's the emotional part. Megan told the court she was depressed, that the online pressure got to her, that she struggled with the public backlash. But when the verdict came out, even people who usually defend her were confused. If this was so painful, why sue somebody? You weren't even properly prepared to sue. Why open this whole saga again? Why chase a $10 million judgment without following the basic steps? It makes her look mismanaged. It makes her look emotional instead of strategic. And in this industry, public perception is everything, especially when you're trying to transition out of trauma and rebuild your brand. And if you want the final layer of bad news, Magro didn't walk out looking defeated. She walked out smiling, relieved, calling it a win for independent media. She went live. She did interviews. She explained the verdict clearly, even correcting the false headlines. Meanwhile, Megan avoided questions, dipped into her SUV, and said almost nothing. That contrast alone shifted the narrative.
Because her losing essentially means you lost. And how are we not media? Bruh, I was front and present at the Tory Lanez trial. Milagro, Armand Wiggins, and others. We were present. We were there every morning. We were out reporting the journalists at the Tory Lanez trial. So how are we not journalists? How are we not media?
Magro looked like she fought Goliath and survived. Megan looked like she swung a hammer and hit herself in the foot. And now, the entire internet gets to debate the one question she didn't want to hear again. Did Megan actually take another L? Because legally, emotionally, and strategically, it doesn't look good. But y'all let me know what you think, man. Did Megan really win anything here? Or did she just create a bigger mess for herself? Is this a W or is this another major L? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this situation right here is far from over.